I'm 89 years old, and I've watched almost everyone I grew up with fade away decades before their time. The difference wasn't genetics or luck. It was the habits they picked up after 60 that became their prison. Most people think aging gracefully starts when you retire, but they're dead wrong. The habits that steal your later decades start forming in your 20s and 30s, and by the time you notice, it's often too late. I'm going to share the 5 specific habits I've avoided my entire life that have kept me sharper, stronger, and more independent than people half my age. These aren't just tips for seniors. If you're in your 20s or 30s right now, understanding these habits gives you a 40-year head start on building an unstoppable future where aging becomes your advantage, not your enemy. The first habit that kills people slowly is letting social connections fade after major life changes. I've watched friends disappear into isolation after retirement, divorce, or losing a spouse. And it's like watching someone choose to die in slow motion. Here's what most people don't understand about loneliness. It doesn't just make you sad. It literally rewires your brain for survival mode. When you're socially isolated, your stress hormones stay elevated, your immune system weakens, and your cognitive function starts declining faster than normal aging would cause. The research shows that chronic loneliness has the same health impact as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. I've seen this happen to brilliant people. My neighbor Harold was a successful engineer, sharp as a tack at 65. After his wife died, he stopped calling friends, stopped going to church, stopped participating in his community groups. Within 3 years, he couldn't remember my name. Within 5, he needed full-time care. The loneliness didn't just make him sad, it made him sick, confused, and dependent. The compound effect is brutal. Isolation leads to depression, which leads to less self-care, which leads to health problems, which leads to more isolation. It's a downward spiral that steals decades from your life and all the joy from your remaining years. But here's the key. You can't wait until you need social connections to start building them. I started diversifying my social network in my 40s, not my 70s. I joined groups based on interests, not just work. I maintained friendships across different age groups. I volunteered for causes I cared about. When life hit me with losses, I had multiple support systems, not just one that could disappear overnight. The second habit that destroys people is accepting physical decline as inevitable and just stopping movement. This might be the most dangerous lie we tell ourselves about aging. I watch people in their 60s moving like they're 90, shuffling around, avoiding stairs, complaining about their joints. Then I look at my friend Margaret, who's 92 and still teaching dance classes 3 times a week. The difference isn't genetics. It's that Margaret never accepted that aging means deteriorating means. When you stop moving, your body starts the dying process. Your muscles atrophy, your bones weaken, your balance deteriorates, your cardiovascular system declines. But worse than the physical decline is what it does to your independence and joy. You can't travel, can't play with grandchildren, can't do the activities that make life worth living. The sedentary lifestyle is a thief. It steals your ability to live on your own terms. I've seen people move into assisted living not because they were sick, but because they were too weak to function independently. They gave up their freedom for the comfort of sitting still. Real movement isn't about becoming a gym rat. It's about maintaining the physical capacity to live fully. I still garden, still walk to the store, still climb stairs without holding the railing. At 89, I can carry my own groceries and change my own light bulbs because I never stopped expecting my body to work. These first two habits work together to create complete dependency. Social isolation makes you mentally fragile, and physical decline makes you practically helpless. Together, they transform aging from a natural process into a prison sentence. But when you understand this connection early, you can build the social and physical foundation that keeps you unstoppable for decades. The third habit that ages people prematurely is stopping learning and mental challenges after their career peaks. I've watched brilliant professionals turn into mental vegetables within a few years of retirement, and it breaks my heart every time. Your brain is like a muscle. Use it or lose it isn't just a saying, it's biological fact. When you stop challenging your mind with new information, complex problems, and creative thinking, your neural pathways literally start disappearing. The technical term is neuroplasticity, but what it means in plain English is that your brain stays young when you keep feeding it new challenges. I knew a surgeon who could perform incredibly complex operations well into his 60s. Sharp, focused, brilliant under pressure. The day he retired, he decided he was done learning. No more medical journals. No new skills. No intellectual challenges. He wanted to relax and enjoy life. Within 2 years, he couldn't follow a simple conversation. His family thought it was sudden onset dementia, but I watched it happen gradually. His mind atrophied from lack of use. Mental stagnation accelerates brain aging faster than any physical factor. When you stop learning, you're not just missing out on new knowledge. You're actively damaging your cognitive reserve, the brain's ability to adapt and compensate for age-related changes. I'm 89, and I still read 3 books a month, learn new technologies, and challenge myself with puzzles and problems. Not because I have to, but because I understand that mental stimulation is the fountain of youth for your brain. Simple, daily practices like reading challenging material, learning new skills, having complex conversations, and solving problems keep your mind sharp and adaptable. The fourth habit is becoming inflexible and resistant to change. This might surprise you, but rigidity kills more older people than any single disease. Life after 60 throws curveballs constantly. Health changes, technology evolves, family situations shift, financial circumstances change. The people who survive and thrive are the ones who can adapt. The people who insist on doing everything the same way they always have become brittle, and brittle things break under pressure. I've seen people refuse to learn basic technology and become completely isolated when the world went digital. I've watched others resist moving to safer housing until they fell and broke their hip. I've known people who wouldn't adjust their diet or exercise routine even when their doctor warned them it was killing them. Their inflexibility wasn't just inconvenient, it was deadly. Flexibility isn't about giving up your values or principles. It's about maintaining the mental agility to navigate whatever life throws at you. The most successful older people I know treat change as an adventure, not a threat. They build change tolerance as a longevity strategy. The fifth and final habit is dwelling on regrets and past failures instead of focusing on future possibilities. This psychological pattern doesn't just make you miserable, it literally weighs down your physical health. When you're constantly looking backward, replaying mistakes, nursing old wounds, and focusing on what went wrong, your body stays in a state of chronic stress. That stress hormones damage your immune system, accelerate aging, and create inflammation. That leads to serious health problems. But more importantly, backward-focused thinking steals your motivation to take care of yourself. Why exercise if your best days are behind you? Why eat well if you're just waiting to die? Why maintain relationships if you're convinced you've already messed everything up? Forward momentum and purpose. Extend both your lifespan and your health span. I wake up every morning excited about what I might learn, who I might help, what I might accomplish. At 89, I'm still setting goals, making plans, and believing my best contributions are still ahead of me. These 5 habits steal decades because they compound over time, turning natural aging into premature decline. The good news? You have the power to avoid every single one of them. Starting today, choose one habit to address this week and start building your unstoppable future now.